Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
and this week we're going to talk a little bit about 50 million. But
50
first,
million? That sounds
50
familiar.
million.
Yeah.
50. But first, roll that title. Yeah, so this week was a milestone that Tesla hit again. And this time they announced that they hit 50 million 4680 cells produced. And this, of course, is their largest and doubling of the last number that we've heard plus. And this is great news. Just a quick little history. Back in February of 2022, they had hit 1 million cells produced. Late June of 2023, I'm sorry, mid-June, I guess, they hit 10 million cells. And October of 2023, again, mid-October, 20 million cells hit at that point. And of course, just this week, they hit the announced 50 million cells. So, yeah, it's been an exponential build of the 4680 battery cells. And of course, that's not a huge surprise. We have been able to see that Tesla tends to do these growth modes after things are set up a little bit better, right? They're starting to roll out the equipment. The equipment gets better. They get faster. They get more efficient. The number of redos slows down. They are producing more and more. And as those things get locked in, they start up another assembly line, right? So all of a sudden that capacity gets doubled. Add another one, you've tripled capacity. Add another one, quadrupled. So getting the process nailed down and of course, the actual materials that you're using and the process of putting it all together. The 4680 was revolutionary in the way that it's being put together. And with some of the lack of items that old batteries had to use, such as heating the slewer that is made. Doing a dry mix allows them to skip steps, to skip drying, to skip time, allows them to put it together. But of course, those bring new challenges because you've never done it before. And you find that we can't do it the way that we had it on paper. It's going to have to be modified if we're going to make this work, or if the yield is going to be
humid.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nobody told us that Texas was humid. It was going to make things damp. We can't have that. We need a dry cell. Yeah. So this, of course, is what Tesla does at all aspects of manufacturing. It again is the iteration, the managing of what actually comes out, and then the modifying of that to make the end goals come into view better. Because, of course, where you start and where you end are two different places.
And they've still only got two plants making 4680s right now, right? They've got the pilot plant and they've got Texas.
That's right. So Cato Road is the pilot plant. And, of course, Giga Texas is now the leader because they've got more machinery than Cato Road. Right. And of course, as time goes along, we understand that as that 4680 gets locked into place even further, they're going to be exporting that technology to other plants around the world. So Berlin at some point, Shanghai at another point could be getting this technology as well with the, of course, updated procedure that's being tested out at Cato Road and Giga Texas.
Let's not forget the original battery factory, the original Gigafactory.
That's true, Nevada.
Gigafactory 1 in Nevada. They're probably not going to get it as quickly as the others because they're out of room. They need to finish building the building, or at least finish building the next stage of the building before they can go ahead and put this equipment in there.
And just to give people a sense of scale as to how many you need. Okay, so they're making 50 million at this point, or they have made 50 million of these cells. 10 million cells can build approximately 12,000 Model Y batteries. So what's that work out to? 1 million would build 1,200 cars. So even at 50 million, that's not going to cut it. They're going to need a lot more batteries. So that 50 million. Let's go with the 10 million figure again. 10 million builds 12,000 cars. So 50 million would build. Would that be that would be 50? That would be 600,000 cars? No. What would that be? It's going to break out the old calculator here. So we've got 12,000 times 5, 60,000 cars. So that's where they're at with 50 million. So obviously, they're going to have to double that, triple that, quadruple that to get into the numbers that they're actually selling per year. So yeah, that 50 million is going to have to become 100, 200 million, 300 million, 500 million. Like that's where this has to go. So 50 million is certainly an achievement in volume, but they're nowhere near the number that they need. They're a tenth of the volume that they have to be at the current 50 million ramp. So that tells you how much work is still left to be done. How many plants have to get involved to get to that value, and how many lines have to be added at Texas in order for them to get another, like if they're at 10% now and they got to get another 90% to get to the total, it's a long road in front of them.
Oh, yes. And then you add Cybertruck to that.
That's right. This is just one. Well, of course, it's the most popular selling vehicle they got, so it is a volume car. But you're right. You start to add the others, and maybe a Cybercab or a Model 2, roll those in, and then those numbers get dwarfed again. So
yeah,
it's something that the scale of this is impressive. How they have to get to the point where they're making that amount of batteries to make those cars is just it's almost overwhelming. What it is from the outside. I'm looking at it going, those numbers are really incomprehensible to me when you start saying 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, 500 million. That's just, those are crazy numbers, and that just the Model Y. So
just Model Y. And the good thing is Cybertruck is what, maybe 10% more cells, but what's going to really throw it is if the mass production version of Semi uses 4680s, that's 3x.
And I got to believe, Casey, that's where they're heading, right? Like the 4680 with its energy density, its cheapness to produce, and its ability to save time on the production line.
Yeah.
All those things combined, that the 4680 is probably the future battery that if Tesla had the ability to, they'd switch everybody over to it. Now,
even the
Powerwall. They can't do it at this point because of they don't have enough of them. But once they start to scale up and all the factories get their own battery plants and they start producing and they start iterating, that will be I imagine it will be a point at some point in the future where they say, okay, we're going to now convert the Model S and the Model X from their 1865 now over to the 4680. I can see that those will happen. Absolutely. Because of course, the cost makes more sense for them to do it. Now, of course, they do have agreements with Panasonic at Nevada that they're not going to break any agreements, but what they will do is they'll entice their partners to move to it with deals, future deals.
You're right, though. It's probably going to be the S and X first because they right now get their batteries from Japan, whereas the Model 3 is just getting them from Nevada right there. So
That's right.
start with S and X, and then start by the factory to the Model 3. I think
And we've said on our show before that we believe that the 4680 was behind schedule by many, many months. And the reason that they couldn't release the Cybertruck or the Semi with 4680s was that it just didn't work. The economics were not correct. They had to pivot. They had to make the Semi with different cells in order to get it out of the door. They had to delay the Cybertruck to the point where when they finally introduced it, they were even being cautious about how many they released into the wild because they want to see how those early battery packs with the 4680 actually perform in real life. They want to see the charging cycles. They want to watch the curves. They want to see the depletion of the batteries, how the battery pack health is overall over a period of time. These tests are still ongoing with the Foundation Series trucks and the people that own them. They don't maybe not know this is happening, but Tesla is examining every little bit of data that they can get back from those trucks that are in the wild.
Yeah, because these aren't just Model Y cells here. They are a step up in technology from what they were doing with Model Y. And then you're not just, all right, now this is version 1.5 cells. No, you've now then doubled your pack voltage. So now you're looking at 800 volts instead of 400 volts. And so there's a lot to look at and slowly do here before they move it to another car, before they try and put it in the Semi, before they put it in a Powerwall. And this audience right here is a good test bed for it because they're going to be doing different things with it. You got the rock crawlers, you've got the mall crawlers, you've got the people towing, and people were doing some of that with the Model Y, but then you had the people comparing it. Do I want 2170 Model Y or do I want a 4680? And with them being cautious, most people are saying, I don't want the 4680 Model Y because they put too many restrictions on it. It charges slow, the range is lower, blah, blah, blah.
And that's another perfect point is the charging. We know that the charging curve is slower in the Cybertruck than what was expected from an 800 volt pack. We thought it would be higher, but again, it's early days. Tesla's examining the health of the pack. They're looking at all the charging that's going on out there in the wild, and they're putting it into their spreadsheets to figure out, is everything acting the way it should? If it is acting the way it should, we'll see a bit of an increase in the charging speed over time. I can almost guarantee it. But if we're not seeing it, they're going to go back to the process. They're going to go back to the materials of the 4680, and they're going to be doing some tweaking so that that can actually live up to the standards that they thought it would. Because if it's not, they're not going to put in danger all those packs out there to maybe get charged on warranty. They don't want that. Obviously, they want to make sure that those packs are healthy and they're going to provide a long-lasting base for the Cybertruck and those customers. They're not going to want to put that in danger. But if they see that the measurements look correct, then we are going to see some better charging. We're going to see some increased speed. Those type of things will happen. But at this point, it's early days.
Yeah, we're going to see it in all kinds of steps because, like, right now there are no 800 volt Tesla chargers out there. So our friends over at Out of Spec, they took their Cybertruck on another road trip, and they found a 1,000 volt charger that would do 250 kilowatts, 235 kilowatts. Sorry, 350 kilowatts, and the truck came within a couple, it was like 20 off from where it could possibly go from the advertisement. And then every time it got there, it would do it for a minute and then it would go down and come back up. And that's another sign of how cautious they're being. Like we know that all their batteries can handle that with enough cooling and enough connection, which we see that truck has, but they're being cautious with it. And as an owner, you kind of respect that. We just saw another record-setting Model S out there in Europe. We saw the first one that had been through, all the drive units, third battery, et cetera, et cetera. But this other one, it had none of that. And the guy supercharges to 100% every time he supercharges. And that is a testament to, I think they're 1 or 2 years apart in how they learn from their process. And
this happens across all the models. The Model 3 was the same way. The Model Y to a lesser extent because it used so much of the Model 3 that was already battle tested. But the Cybertruck is certainly a brand new thing, and with all its inventions, its weight, its size, its new battery pack, the new cells, all of it is being tested again. If you don't want that type of uncertainty, you should probably stay out of the game of purchasing it until the second iteration comes out. Because I'm not saying that there's a problem with it, but
they'll get you covered.
They'll cover you for certain. But it is a little bit of a roller coaster ride as you see that they're using you as a bit of a test guinea pig to start. So that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and they'll cover you in the wildest ways possible. Like if you guys remember the early Model S, rear-wheel drive only, there was a 5 to 25 cent shim that was just not working out, and instead of taking the 3 days to unpack everything and then replace the grommet and then put everything back together, they just swapped you for a new drive unit in an afternoon. Unheard of. It was fast and it worked, and then they could then get the people on the drive unit refurbished line to replace that on an assembly line fashion rather than having a mechanic all over the country do it hundreds of times.
Yeah, absolutely. So they are weighing how long, how much it's going to cost to do these type of modifications. And if it makes more sense to swap a unit, that's what they're going to do. Because, of course, ultimately the cost lies with them, and they're going to have to eat the cost regardless. So it's something that the warranty is definitely going to take care of. I'm just saying, as an owner, you need to be aware of these things. And when you get into a brand new model, is that you're going to be a bit of a guinea pig. It's interesting. And I bought a Model 3 brand new, and within the first 6 months that it was released, my order came up and I bought it. I did not have issues with warranty. I did not have issues with build quality. I was really surprised. I was quite happy with what I received. But others have had some issues. They've been addressed by Tesla, but you as a new owner need to know these type of things if you're getting into a brand new model. It's something that you will face.
I know a couple of people who got early foundation trucks, and they were like, this and this, and they were cussing and screaming. And then a couple of days later, they get the truck back. They're like, wow, it's perfect. They'll take care of you. And like, what about this? Oh no, it's great now. I was like, okay, great. You just cussing up a storm. I figured that, they had to make it perfect to make you quiet down. And he's like, yes, it is perfect.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to the rollout of the 4680 as it gets more locked in and we see more lines. And that 50 million number is going to be a small number when we look at this again a year from now, half a year from now, because it is ramping up. But we'll keep our eye on it and let you know as we move along.
Do you think that the lithium iron phosphate 4680s, do you think they're going to be in the same plants? Or are they going to be different lines, different factories altogether?
I think they're going to be definitely different lines because of the materials will be different. They may be put together similarly, but I think there's going to be extra steps with the the current model, the
Cybercell and the Model Y.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a change, but I can imagine that over time they may zero in on just two batteries. One for the high performance vehicles that has the nickel in them, and one that has the iron in them for the non high performance vehicles. And of course, the non performance vehicles will be the most compared to the performance vehicles. So I can see that happening eventually. You don't want to have 12 different formulas if you can avoid it. And I think they'll probably just center on two as time goes along.
Yeah, they probably also put them in the energy. You get the mega packs and the power walls. Yeah.
Yep. It'll go everywhere when they can.
I propose the poll question for the week. Which location is going to be the next location to be making the 4680s?
Good question. We'll put that out.
I think they'll fit. We got 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
we will put that out and find out what you out there tell us. So you can follow us on Twitter at the Tesla Life and on our Facebook page, the Tesla Life #1. And with that, I think we will wrap it up. Casey, any shout outs?
Yeah, so it's Friday. I will catch you on Sunday over at youtube.com/Casey Green for Let's Chat with Casey and Friends, and also an update on the HV Nomads project. And then on Monday, come back here again for the Tesla Life Express. And Wednesday, we'll do the Tesla Life Live. We'll catch you then.
Perfect. Talk to you later, everyone. Have a great evening.
Fossil fuels. I'm clicking the button on the wrong screen.